Hello and welcome to JoyNews Prime. Coming up tonight, Minority on Parliament's Communications Committee demands a probe into the nationwide disruption in internet and data services. We'll hear from some Ghanaians as they count their losses and express frustrations on their day without internet.
I got to know that the internet wasn't working. I tried to send an SMS, but still was not going through, so I stopped. And up to now, as I'm talking to you, the SMS is not still going through.
Doomsday or localized outages. Consumers say they are bearing the brunt of the erratic power supply situation.
Charlie, I know your shit. Because when they off their lights in morning around 8, unless evening around 6, that lighting and it's very bad. It's affecting our job, you see. You see this kind of job we do. Without lights, we can't do anything. And we are not surviving because of the lights.
Now, producers of Ghana Card Margins Group tells Parliamentary Committee it has uncovered thousands of fake national IDs in the system after it began harmonizing Ghana Card data with other national IDs.
About 130,000 NHIS cards, which don't exist. We found, I think, another 45,000 driver's license, which don't exist.
The Minority on Parliament's Communications Committee is demanding a probe into the nationwide disruption in internet and data services as it raises questions over why all 5C fiber optic cables that provide services to telecommunications companies were down at the same period. The National Communications Authority and Telecoms Chamber explained that multiple undersea cable disruptions are responsible for the limited capacity of mobile and fixed data services nationwide. Let's share with you. Now, the National Communications Authority has meanwhile issued a statement on this development. Now, the NCA says it regrettably informs the general public that multiple undersea cable disruptions has affected mobile and fixed data services nationwide. Now, the statement continues to say that the disruptions of affecting multiple undersea cables responsible for carrying international traffic have occurred in Senegal and Cote d'Ivoire, and with some disruptions in Portugal. This has led to a significant degradation of data services across the country. The statement continues to say, quote, "It is important to note that the mobile network operators, MNOs, have redundancies on other cables and are working around the clock to restore full services. In addition, the MNOs have informed affected customers of the disruptions via various channels." Now, the authority is monitoring the situation and will update the public accordingly. Now, the disruption in internet supply across the country is having a far-reaching effect on the daily activities of Ghanaians. One of the mobile internet service customers recount to JoyNews how her pay slip processing for onward payment of her salary and other allowances could not be transmitted, leaving her hanging in the balance and uncertain about whether or not her monthly salary will be paid. An Uber driver also said he had challenges with having good sales because of the internet disruption.
Internet users in Ghana have been hard hit by the sudden disruption in supply of mobile and fixed internet services across the country. Sector regulator, the National Communications Authority, says the problem is attributable to multiple undersea cable disruptions. Even as technicians work around the clock to resolve the crisis, some Ghanaians say a cut in the internet supply is having a toll on their daily activities and businesses.
Yeah, I use MTN, I use Vodafone. Today it was a hell for me since morning to now. I cannot be able to access my Zoom. Even to print out my pay slip was a wahala the whole day. I couldn't print it.
Your pay slip?
Yes. Very serious. And then did it close tomorrow. I have to print it tomorrow. And here is the I can't print it out.
Which means that basically you might lose out on your...
Basically, yes. I don't know what actually they want to use it for, but they say we should provide it by tomorrow at 8 a.m. And here is the case. The network is not working. I cannot access it. I cannot print it out.
When did you realize your internet was not working?
This morning, 8 a.m. Started this morning, 8 a.m. to now.
We use the internet always as in a form of receiving files, yes, retrieving and all those stuff. So we need internet for our daily works. But today with the internet connection, we felt that if you sent a file like just now, it will take you an hour or two before it sends, and you got to know that the network especially has a problem.
Yeah, I was a bit affected, but I used MTN, so it wasn't too much. I think it was with work that network was down, so we couldn't do much, but on my phone it's quite okay. I think it's just WhatsApp that's down, but with Snapchat it's okay. So
When did you realize?
Well, colleagues started complaining about it, but I was doing some work off the internet, so I didn't really mind. So I was just on my phone because I used MTN, it was better.
The National Communications Authority says it is working to resolve today's disruptions in internet supply across the country. The problem has been attributed to some undersea cables that have been cut in parts of Côte d'Ivoire, Senegal and Portugal. Ghana has felt the impact, with many internet users expressing their frustration about the disruption in internet supply for today.
No, but they should try and do something about it because it has really affected our work today. Sending message to the house, sending message to an individual is not going through at all.
So up to now, I've still not done my assignment. I'm hoping that maybe by the close of the day, I'll have a better network.
This problem, because Ghanaians, we're already suffering with one or two things. So this internet is what brings us some joy or something else. So we beg them, they should do something about it.
Leslie Sugan reporting for Joy News, Accra.
Now, some mobile telephony users have also been counting their losses and expressing frustrations over the disturbance in internet supply.
Well, for me, in the beginning, I didn't even notice. So I thought maybe it was my bundle or something. So it was later I checked the bundle, I still had bundle, and then I was like, and then later I saw people posting it like MTN and stuff, so I was like, maybe there's a problem. So, yeah.
So how has it affected you? Has it affected you in any way?
Well, not really. I was just bored. Like, instead of maybe being on social media, I was just sitting down. Oh yeah, and I was unable to send messages, WhatsApp messages. Okay. Oh, when I got to know that the network wasn't, the internet wasn't working, I tried to send an SMS, but still was not going through, so I stopped. And up to now, as I'm talking to you, the SMS is not still going through. Okay. I needed a response from the person, but I didn't get it up to now.
It has really affected me because after work I wanted to get home very quick. I was trying to access goods to get in touch with the customer, but it was a problem. Yeah. Okay. I think it started around 1 p.m. Yes, and it's still happening up to now. Yeah.
But Deputy Ranking Member on the Communications Committee, Sam George, says the incident should be investigated thoroughly because of its implications to the sovereignty of the country.
Well, it's a worrying situation, and it's one that anyone who thinks about the sovereignty of the country and the economic impact, not to talk of the national security impact, will be very, very concerned. You know, that we can have the kind of blackout we've had. I realize and reckon that we're beginning to see some limited service on some of the platforms, but clearly this must lead us to have a national conversation on what is critical national infrastructure and how we run it. There are issues of who owns them, what kind of redundancies do we have as a country. These are all critical issues that we must begin to think about, not to talk about the loss. You know, in this country, we don't take statistics very seriously, but if this was another jurisdiction, by close of today, we would have had from the statistical service the cost to the economy of Ghana, because don't forget that people would need to connect to the internet to clear goods at the ports today. That would literally be impossible, so the ports will literally have grinded to a halt. And private businesses that offer services to clients outside the country by working online have all been affected and offline. The cost to business alone, the economy of Ghana today, give or take, could run into the hundreds of millions of dollars if we look at that.
The Chamber of Telecom says it's investigating. What would you want to see? Well,
The question I'll be interested in is how is it that we have 5 sea cable landings in Ghana, and in one suite, all 5 are either taking out or we we have limited capabilities. I thought it was just the wax, but it appears that the effect goes beyond wax, because wax is the MTN cable. What's happening to Main 1? What's happening to Glow 1? What's happening to all the fiber cables that are coming into Ghana, the 5? Because if wax was down, we could have easily piggybacked on Main 1 for some temporary, but it looks like all of them are either having no service capabilities today or very limited service capabilities, and that's worrying. And that should be something we should investigate and make sure that we take concrete steps to ensure never again do we have such situations. Imagine this happening on the 7th of December.
Away from that, residents of La Paz and Alajo in the Greater Accra region have lamented bitterly about the recent power outages. They say the intermittent power supply is affecting their businesses, destroying their gadgets, both home and at work. They are calling on the ECG to fix the problem or provide the public with a timetable. The following report has more.
Is Dumso back? Well, the Energy Ministry and the Electricity Company of Ghana say it isn't. But some Ghanaians have complained bitterly about their recent experiences with intermittent power supply. They say it is affecting their businesses and destroying their gadgets.
Charlie, I know your shit. Because when they off their lights since morning around 8, unless evening around 6, that lighting, and it's very bad. It's affecting our job, you see. You see this kind of job we do. Without lights, we can't do anything. And we are not surviving because of the lights, you see. So if the doomsday is starting there, man, we are dead.
Actually, the power outages is very frequent in our area here. And for the case of business, no, those of the tenants that are using it for ice water, that destroy their business. And especially this man is a photographer. Normally they use the electricity to do and to affect them. And the heat, when it happens in the night, you can't sleep. You can't sleep.
It's affecting us very bad because there are days, it's like when you're about to work and then all of a sudden the lights will go off. And I think on Wednesday or Tuesday, we were here around 9 or so. Then there was no light. We have several customers that pass by. Some of them want to retouch their hair, some of them want to do washing, but we are not able to do that. So we have to send them, go every with the braiding. Because of that, we have to buy gas cylinder in case when someone finish braiding, there is no light, we have to heat water separately. So that's the challenges we are going to go.
They're calling on the Electricity Company of Ghana to provide a timetable so they know when to adequately prepare.
Yeah, we agree because normally when it's going off, we are not aware and we haven't prepared. Probably you may have some things in the fridge that will get spoiled. So definitely we need, if really there's the situation, we have to get a timetable so that you can program for it. But the way it is, all of a sudden, sometimes a day, 2 times.
They have to tell us, Ebia, today the light will go off. Do you understand? For us to know. But they won't tell anything, they won't say anything. You are just sitting down, then you see the lights off. We are doing something serious. Last time we were braiding someone's hair. Lights off. We have to let the person go.
The intermittent power supply is not exclusive to the Greater Accra region, as some other regions, including the Ashanti region, have also complained of recent power outages. But when does it come to an end? Time will tell. For JoyNews, Kenneth Jesse.
Now, many parents say they are compelled to supplement the food served in the wards at the various senior high schools with monetary contributions as a result of the acute shortage of food. This is contained in our latest hotline documentary, Empty Plate, the Free SHS Promise, which highlights the grim picture of quantity and quality of food that they served thousands of students on various campuses. Some parents tell JoyNews they now have to smuggle meals to their wards to ensure they don't starve.
Under the policy, residential students are supposed to benefit from 3 square meals, while non-residential ones get 1 hot meal. But not only was the quantity of food served these children less than they expected. But 12 to 8 students are assigned to a jug of porridge or bowl of food.
The challenge has been that my daughter is constantly complaining that the food they are fed with is not enough. I've taken the pains to also provide enough food like gari and others that she can eat from her chop box. But it turns out that the school has drawn a timetable for visiting the chop box, so that there's some days that she cannot go to the chop box even though she has food, and they can also not provide her enough at the dining hall. So it's a challenge. Parents of this school have come together to get support for the school. So we contribute some amount of money. We're supposed to contribute twice in a term. That's 500 cedis for the first half, and the other half we contribute another 500 cedis.
We tried to support, but because of government initiative, it's difficult. So for me, I sometimes, let me put in quotes, smuggled food to the school for my ward.
What food do you usually smuggle to your ward?
Oh, sometimes rice, sometimes fufu, sometimes omuti. I send it to the school.
Our empty plates, the Free SCS Promise, will be airing on Monday, March 18 on Joy FM Super Morning Show at 8:30 a.m. and here on JoyNews Channel at 8:30 p.m. Now, away from that, leadership of Cath Doctors Association has finally concluded on suspending their strike after a series of engagements with members and management of the hospital. After deliberations on the hospital accommodation crisis, the doctors are entrusting management, the Regional Coordinating Council and the Lands Commission to prevent the alleged private developer from taking possession of their bungalows. This paves way for the doctors to resume work tomorrow. My colleague Nana Wache Yadom has more.
Series of meetings have been going on here at the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital. 1, between leadership of the Doctors Association and their members, and 2, the association and management of the hospital. The first meeting saw members of the Doctors Association raising concerns with regards to the demand by management to call off their strike. Well, leadership of the Doctors Association submitted the concerns of their members to management. At the end of the meeting today, the leadership have concluded on calling off the strike. According to Michael Leith, who is the president of the Komfanoche Teaching Hospital Doctors Association, they are trusting the management of the hospital to find a solution to their demands.
After our emergency meeting, we've resolved to stop looking for the accommodation. In fact, after our meeting with our stakeholders, they've promised to help us find the accommodation. So we see no reason why we should go back to look for accommodation by ourselves. So our management will, together with the other stakeholders, will do that for us. So now, as of now, we've started. We will not be going back to look for any accommodation. As I've already mentioned, these things have been taken care of, and our members will not be harassed as promised by the management and our stakeholders. And yes, we have that trust in them, we believe in them, so there's no cause for alarm. And our members also have agreed to what management and the other stakeholders have said. So yeah, we're all happy. Both sides, management and the staff and our stakeholders are all happy. So yeah.
But some patients who visited the OPD center of the hospital today were stranded. The nurses relayed the information to the patients to have their dates rescheduled. Some of them spoke to Joy News.
And I'm a surgery. To me, buy normally share 1 month. And then 1 month,
it's a surgery, and they are supposed to take care of me. Since they are not here, I will wait. I have been given 2 weeks to return.
It's been almost a time, bruh.
We came here early in the morning. The nurses informed us about the strike, so they rescheduled our date to 10th April.
I said a new option be a say or say a train, because the other new option be a.
From the engagement, the strike is no more. The doctors are expected to resume work tomorrow at 6 a.m. For Joy News, my name is Nana Boachidankwe Kumase.
Technical and technological partners of the NIA in the production of the Ghana card, Margins Group, say they have uncovered tens of thousands of fake national IDs after harmonizing data from the Ghana card with other national identity documents. According to the group, these fake documents range from passports, driver's licenses, and a host of others which threaten the credibility of these documents. Listen to Chief Software Development Officer at Margins ID Group, Andrew Asamoah, making his revelation to a joint committee of subsidiary legislation and the Defense and Interior Committee at the company premises.
About 45,000 passports which don't exist in the passport database. We found about 130,000 NHIS cards which don't exist. We found, I think, another 45,000 driver's license which don't exist. The number of SNIT cards, I think, was about 166,000. These documents were presented to NIA during the registration process, and so we couldn't detect this in the field because we operate a secure database. The machine can only talk to NIA.
Group CEO Moses Bading has also been responding to certain claims that they have been made about the company in public, including allegations that they are affiliated to the governing New Patriotic Party.
We are the first large-scale Islamic national ID project in the world, and we designed it right here from Ghana. Some people think, some people say that we were an NPP company next day, we were built this time, we were built that time. But actually, the first national ID, 1995, during the Rollins era, there was a big by accident with the only local company that competed. So to date, we registered 183,000 foreigners from 260 different nationalities. So today you can tell how many foreigners are in Ghana from each country, where they live, and what they do. We're here to get the full benefits of the data. The weakness of the project is the government has not enforced enough. And the money doesn't come to us. There are so many publications that have some private parties taking the money. We're not receiving any money. The money is passed by Parliament so that it goes to the escrow account, so that it pays for the investment that we've made, which is calculated 10% of debt. You signed all agreements, so 10% of debt on private sector is very low, given the risk that we're going through. And 17% of equity, that's all there is to do. And when people update and replace cards, they pay. If you do offline and online verification anywhere in the world, you pay an NIA fee for it. You don't have to know that infrastructure. You can use it, and you can negotiate that affordable fee, passed by Parliament, not passed by NIA. And subsidiary legislation committee, that's why you will go say, why are you charging this? Why are you charging? Remove this, remove that. Why is it that somebody says to me, there's miners who's charging fees? How do we charge fees? We're only getting paid for our debt and our equity.
So far, 2,000 Ghanaians have used the Ghana card from 19 different countries to come to Ghana. That's a fact. The passport can be accessed in 197 balls, 44,000. If you go to any European passport and they say, read your passport, try your Ghana card, the MRC at the back, and then put it on it. You see it, you read.
It appears MPs are satisfied with the work Margins Group were doing. A bipartisan group of MPs wanted the state to support the company deliver on its mandate. Dr. Dominic Ayine is an NDC MP and chairman of the Subsidiary Legislation Committee. Kwabena Ochere Darko Mensah is MPP MP and Western Regional Minister.
The first thing I would say is that, I'm so awestruck, I'm lost for words. And to think that this is being done by a Ghanaian company, a fully owned Ghanaian company, that, is being operated and run, by Ghanaians, is for me heartwarming. One thing I can say is that today, the members of parliament from the Subsidiary Legislation Committee, as well as the Defense and Interior Committee, have had their eyes opened to the multifunctional character of the Ghana card, that beyond it being used, for voter registration, it is also a card that can, provide the basis of even fiscal stability. It can prevent, cyber crime. And as I once said, on Joy FM, it can provide us not only clean elections, but also a clean society. And I think that all of you are witnesses to what has happened today. As a group, in a bipartisan manner, support, the work not only of the NIA, but also this Ghanaian multinational company for it to succeed.
Now to other stories. The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has described as historic the implementation of an integrated number at birth system. The initiative, dubbed Ghana Card Number at Birth, forms part of effort by the government to ensure that every Ghanaian has a Ghana card to enable him an easy access to basic social services. According to the Vice President, the implementation of this integrated system is a significant milestone which will address many challenges in the country. There's more in this report.
So far, a little over 17 million Ghanaians, constituting about 70% of the population in the country, have been registered by the National Identification Authority. Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, at the launch of the Ghana Card Number at Birth initiative, said its implementation will not only increase the number of registered Ghanaians, but will enhance the database in the country to monitor economic progress and the associated challenges.
This monumental integration effort is not just about issuing a Ghana card number. It is about recognizing and affirming the rights and existence of our youngest citizens from the moment they enter this world. It is about laying a foundation for their future, ensuring that they have access to health, education, and social services without unnecessary barriers. The Ghana Card Number at Birth system promises many benefits. It provides documentary evidence of legal identity, social relationship, and rights from birth and ensures social protection. It enables effective planning of essential services like health, education, and social welfare, which supports economic growth and poverty reduction. It generates continuous demographic data for better management and sectoral improvements in health and well-being.
The registration of children at birth has taken effect for all infants above 6 weeks across the country. Executive Director of the NIA, Professor Ken Atefua, explains the processes involved and indicates that it will resolve the critical issue of age cheating in the system.
The personal identification number will be given to every child born in this country. I mean, every Ghanaian. The focus now is every Ghanaian. And there is nothing useful to add to the very detailed and brilliant presentational submissions made by Mrs. Henrietta Lamte of the Births and Deaths Registry, that with this critical milestone beginning today, contestations about age, contestations about citizenship identification, all of those will become a thing of the past. As we say, football age will no longer exist. And with that, all the other falsehoods, all the other centers of contention will begin to evaporate. Our national elections will be cleaner. We should be able, indeed, in my personal view, we should be able, beginning this year, to rely on the National Identity Register to vote as Ghanaians, because we have the cleanest moment in our history and in our future.
On her part, Acting Director General of Births and Deaths, Henrietta Lamte, this is an opportunity to get every child registered and admonish parents to register their children.
As we implement this important project, it will be our collective commitment to leave no child undocumented, irrespective of their location.
Meanwhile, some mothers who have registered their children have expressed satisfaction about the initiative.
They are 6 years and I may register. It's
we like it because you don't have to wait till the child grows up. You go and queue, a very long queue. You go today, they tell you to come tomorrow and all those stuff. So right from bed, you're able to register your child and get a Ghana card. So I think it's easy. It's okay.
I easy, mommy, because
stress wo mo be register Ghana card no na stressful. Now so me be we me ba. Now fortunately no na ma beto 20 me ya ama no.
Omo breath say na yes ye bre. On say omo de buy ye bre ye be kwa for me queue. Aye, but we say no.
The Ghana Card Number at Birth initiative is the first of its kind to be implemented in the country. Sambole Mbura, Joy News.
That's watching JoyNews Prime. We'll take a quick break. We'll be back with more Tuesday. Welcome back from the break. Time for us to do election headquarters, and that is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity, and Chartered Institute of Management Accountant and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountant. Election headquarters for an informed electorate. Now, Director of the Information Service Department, Dr. Winifred Nafisa Mahama, has cautioned the public against comments and materials that could spark violence during this campaign season. Dr. Mahama made the call at a Dubawa U.S. Embassy Public Education on the threat of information disorder to Ghana's peaceful electoral process. There's more in the following report.
As Ghana gears up for the 2024 elections, one major concern of political stakeholders is the need to create an informed electorate to ensure a violence-free election. Knowing the role of the media and citizens in ensuring this, media fact-checking group Dubawa Ghana and the U.S. Embassy in Ghana have begun public engagement with journalists and students on combating information disorder. Press attaché to the U.S. Embassy in Ghana, Kevin Brosnahan, first explains the essence of the program.
On how to detect and combat mis and disinformation, especially related to the elections. And of course, Ghana has elections in 2024, so does the United States. The United States, unfortunately, has experience with mis and disinformation in our elections, and we want to share what we've learned, because we think now in this era of supercharged social media, every modern democracy needs to be ready and prepared for disinformation during our elections. I think for the general public, for young people, for users of social media, we want you to think, stop, think, reflect, and verify before you share information online. If it's making you angry or emotional in some way, it's likely designed to get you to share it. And that may also be an indication that it might be false. So the time to stop, reflect, and verify before you share information.
Private legal practitioner and lecturer at the University of Media, Arts and Communications Institute of Journalism, Zakaria Musa Tanko, emphasizes why the youth must play an active role in the policy-making process.
Environment, what does that mean? When you start pushing them, then they realize that, yeah, now we have to come back with the figures, with the justification, how we're going to do this. This is the role you have to play in the elections. And of course, you cannot play these roles if you're also going to play along and be churning out information that you haven't verified. Because that information, that disinformation that you are contributing to circulate would make somebody resign, decide that they're not going to participate in these elections, or they're going to vote for somebody for the wrong reasons, or they won't vote for somebody that they are supposed to vote for. So the youth have a crucial role to play, because you have to decide who you think, when you give the opportunity to, would try and come and change the situation that we are in, unless you are happy with the situation you are in.
Director of the Information Service Department, Dr. Winifred Nafisa Mahama, says people must stay away from spreading falsehood, especially on social media in this critical time.
Election violence, as Tanko says, starts from something very little, and just a small argument on something that one person could have explained and trashed out can just spearhead a whole confusion that can degenerate and affect the whole country. So media literacy, public education campaign on how to avoid, how to detect information, misinformation and disinformation will go a long way
guest speaker for the program, Sarah Wachter, told participants, who are largely media students, to create a safe space on the internet, especially on social media, to encourage healthy conversations.
You have young journalists who are putting out explainers on YouTube, explaining all kinds of complicated topics like the electoral process. These are the kinds of things that you can do, talking the language of the youth to your peers. I think this could be an extremely powerful thing that you can do to get greater engagement on the part of Ghana's youth in the political process.
The group is hopeful that the education will have a positive impact on the 2024 general elections. Nathan Gaduga is editor for Dubawa.
And sometimes your participation in the election is also very important. How do you participate? If through disinformation you are disenfranchised, that will go a long way to affect even the entire electoral process. And we are giving the people the right information on why it is important for them to participate in the election, the barriers that they are likely to encounter that will stop them from participating. And if they are aware of this, I'm sure they will be able to take the right decisions as far as the election is concerned.
The 3-day program, which was organized for news editors in Kumasi and students of the University of Media, Arts and Communications Institute of Journalism, was on the theme, the crucial role of effective communication in the information ecosystem for combating information disorder. James Savaji, Joy News.
Now, the Ghana Police Service insists investigations into deaths of civilians during the 2020 general elections is still a priority. The service insists it is in touch with families on the stage of the inquiry and that they will get to the bottom of the cases. The update came during the IGP's visit to the Electoral Commission boss, Jean Mensah, on security measures ahead of the December general elections. My colleague, Mamiesu Nyamechel Thompson, has more.
A team of police officers led by the Inspector General of Police visited the Electoral Commission at its head office with the aim of engaging on pertinent security issues. The police, gearing up for another crucial election later this year, has committed to drawing on lessons from previous exercises to ensure no mishaps in security. Both institutions have established that the candidates from the two major political parties, the NDC and NPP, pose a unique case for this year's election. The IGP, George Ekufodampare, indicates preparedness for the elections have been improved.
Since then, we are putting security measures in place. For over 2 years, we have established or streamlined election security within the police service and across the other security agencies, such that within the police service, we have established a directorate for election security management. And that directorate has been in existence for the past 2 years and has been working closely with all stakeholders. And all the elections that we've had has been done in a process mindset instead of with an event mindset. And the process will continue. It is like an emergency service, which is run 24/7. Because election is not about a date of opening registers for people to add or check their names. It's not about the casting of the vote on the day. It is a complete process that begins, the next round of it begins from where the last one ended.
The EC boss, Jean Mensah, on the other hand, guaranteed a transparent electoral process to all stakeholders. According to her, right from registration until the election is over, no one will be left behind.
As well, as a commission, I use this opportunity to pledge our commitment to ensuring that all our processes and the elections are credible, they are transparent, they are accessible and inclusive and peaceful. And we believe that should we make this a reality, the elections will be acceptable to all stakeholders. We will continue to engage with our key stakeholders, our political parties and the citizenry, and carry them along all aspects of our work, from registration to declaration. Through the platform of the Let the Citizen Know, we will provide information on all aspects of our work, relevant aspects of our work.
After a meeting of the two leaders behind closed doors, the head of public affairs at the police service, ACP Grace Ansah Akrofi, indicated that investigations into the deaths of some 8 civilians during the 2020 elections are still ongoing. She says the cold case unit have been in talks with families.
The cold case unit met with them and investigation is still ongoing. And at the right time, when the investigation is concluded, Ghanaians will hear what the court determines. Thank you.
Election headquarters, as always, is brought to you by Petrosolio Clean Fuel in full quantity and Chartered Institute of Management Accountant and the American Institute of Certified Public Accountant, together as the Association of International Certified Professional Accountant. Election headquarters for an informed electorate. We'll take it.